A strong earthquake jolts the province of Ilocos Norte Monday morning. The Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology says the magnitude 5.6 tremor struck at 10:56 a.m.
Ipinaliwanag ng Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology na ang sunod-sunod na lindol sa Ilocos Sur ay nagmula sa Manila Trench at maaari pang sundan ng isang magnitude 8.4 na lindol.
The Earth is restless beneath the Philippines. Every day, deep beneath the ocean floor, forces beyond comprehension twist, grind, and build pressure in silence. It's not the kind of noise you hear, but the kind you feel, eventually, when it's too late. Along the western seaboard of Luzon lies the Manila Trench, a massive underwater fault line that stretches for hundreds of kilometers. To most people, it's invisible, just another part of the sea. But for geologists and seismologists, it's a ticking clock. This trench is where the Sunda plate pushes under the Philippine sea plate, a process called subduction. Over centuries, that relentless pressure has built mountains, birthed islands, and shaken cities to rubble. But lately, it's been sending signals, quiet, ominous warnings. For the past decade, slow slip events have been recorded along the trench. Movements so subtle they're often called silent earthquakes. They don't make headlines, they don't topple buildings, but they are signs that the Earth is adjusting, preparing, as if stretching before the snap. These tremors, along with increasingly frequent micro-earthquakes in provinces like Ilocos Norte and Ilocos Sur, paint a chilling picture. The pressure is rising. The last time this fault fully released its fury was 1990. The Luzon earthquake struck with a magnitude of 7.8, killing over 1,600 people and reducing parts of Baguio City and Cabanatuan to dust. That was over 30 years ago. Since then, there hasn't been a rupture of that scale along the Manila Trench. To the scientific community, that silence is not comforting. It's terrifying. Because subduction zones don't just fall asleep, they wait, they build, and when they finally give way, the results are catastrophic. Earthquakes aren't just natural events, they're historical markers, moments where time splits into before and after. And as you stand anywhere in Luzon, on the bustling streets of Manila, or in a quiet fishing village by the shore, you're standing on the edge of one. Manila, the vibrant capital of the Philippines, is alive with movement. Jeepneys rumbling through narrow streets, neon lights reflecting off glass towers, the scent of street food lingering in the humid air. It feels permanent, grounded, unstoppable. But beneath that illusion of stability lies a deep vulnerability. The city sits atop a landscape riddled with faults, none more threatening than the Valley Fault System. Running right through Metro Manila, it includes the infamous West Valley Fault, a 100-kilometer tear in the earth that scientists have been warning about for years. It has a cycle, about 400 years between major quakes. The last big rupture? Around 1658. That math leaves much comfort. If the West Valley Fault moves, it won't just be a tremble. It will be devastation. Experts predict a quake of magnitude 7.2, enough to collapse over 100,000 buildings, sever lifelines, and cause tens of thousands of casualties. Power lines will fall, roads will twist, water systems will break. Hospitals, many already overcrowded, could be overwhelmed in minutes. And while some areas have conducted drills and updated building codes, large parts of the city remain woefully unprepared. Concrete giants built before seismic standards were implemented will crack like brittle cookies. Informal settlements clinging to the riverbanks will be flattened. What makes this more terrifying is not just the scale, but the timing. Earthquakes don't knock. They don't wait for rush hour to pass or for children to finish school. They strike when they want, ripping through normalcy. Imagine a weekday morning. The clatter of breakfast, kids in uniforms, the smell of coffee, and in a flash, the ground heaves. Everything familiar becomes dangerous. And for millions in Metro Manila, that risk is not a distant nightmare. It's a looming certainty. The question isn't if, but when. And with every quiet day, the pressure beneath the crust builds a little more, unnoticed. Yet the danger isn't limited to tremors alone. The real specter lurking in the shadows of the Manila Trench is something far more terrifying, a mega-thrust earthquake that triggers a tsunami, the kind that moves faster than you can run. In 2004, the world watched in horror as a similar fault in the Indian Ocean released its grip, sending waves towering as high as 30 meters, crashing into coastlines across 14 countries. Over 230,000 people perished. What many don't realize is that the Manila Trench shares the same geological characteristics. It, too, is capable of releasing an earthquake above magnitude 8.5, and with it, a tsunami that would slam into western Luzon within minutes. Towns like Subic, Olongapo, and Zambales would be the first to feel it. But the real catastrophe would unfold in Manila Bay. A funnel-shaped inlet, it amplifies waves. The tsunami wouldn't just wash ashore, it would surge into the heart of the city. Within 15 to 30 minutes of the quake, walls of water could flood Roques Boulevard, drown in Tramamor, and reach deep into the financial district of Makati. Millions could be caught unawares. Evacuation would be a race against a ticking clock most never hear. Compounding this threat is the sheer density of Metro Manila. Over 13 million people live in a tightly packed sprawl of concrete, glass, and corrugated iron. High-rises and slums alike sit side by side. Roads already choked with traffic would become impassable. People would run, not knowing where safety lies. Electricity would fail. Communication networks would collapse. And in the chaos, every second would count. We've seen it before. In Japan, 2011, the Tohoku earthquake and tsunami killed over 15,000 and led to the Fukushima nuclear disaster. They were prepared. The Philippines in many places is not. Scientists have modeled the potential impact of a Manila Trench quake. They've simulated the waves, charted the flood zones, even issued warnings. But warnings fade. People forget. Life resumes. And beneath the quiet rhythm of everyday life, the danger waits. The ocean doesn't care about our cities. It only knows the rules of physics, gravity, and energy. And when the trench breaks, that energy will become a force of nature we can't stop. In the rural provinces that line the western coast, La Union, Pangasinan, and Zambales, the sea is a way of life. Fishermen rise before dawn, boats glide over calm waters, and children play near the shore. But these communities, often under-resourced and far from urban centers, would be ground zero in the event of a tsunami. Unlike high-rises in the city, these coastal towns have little vertical shelter. Many homes are built from light materials, wood, bamboo, tin sheets, offering no protection from the wrath of the sea. And though there are evacuation maps and sirens in some areas, many residents still live with no clear understanding of just how fast the water can come. In drills, people move calmly. In real life, panic rewrites everything. Imagine the first jolt, the earth groaning, houses shaking. Power dies. Then in the distance, the sea recedes. Not everyone recognizes this as a warning. Some run to take pictures. Some run toward the beach. By the time they realize what's coming, it's too late. A wall of water, dark and roaring, engulfs the land, sweeping away homes, trees, vehicles, even concrete buildings. Survivors don't run, they cling to trees, rooftops, anything that floats. The aftermath is a mosaic of tragedy. Families torn apart, landscapes erased, silence broken only by cries for help. And yet, in this terrifying scenario, the biggest tragedy isn't nature's violence. It's our lack of preparation. Scientists have repeatedly called for stronger coastal defenses, early warning systems, and more public education. But bureaucracy moves slowly. Budgets shrink. Priorities shift. And the villagers, those who would be first to face the wave, are often left with prayers as their only protection. In moments like this, you realize the stark difference between knowing something is possible and doing something about it. The danger isn't just geological, it's institutional. In the halls of universities and seismic institutes, a few dedicated scientists are working tirelessly, staring at charts, running simulations, poring over satellite data. They're not trying to scare people. They're trying to buy them time. Among them, Dr. Renato Solidum, head of PIVOCLs, has spent decades raising the alarm. He's talked of the big one, the need for retrofitting, the urgency of disaster drills. His voice has echoed in interviews, press briefings, classrooms, but too often warnings are met with a shrug. The human brain isn't wired for slow-moving catastrophes. It reacts to the now, the urgent, the immediate. A headline about a future quake doesn't compare to traffic, bills, or politics. But the Earth doesn't negotiate. It doesn't delay just because we're distracted. And when the trench gives, when the West Valley Fault cracks, we will be judged by what we did with the warnings. Did we reinforce the hospitals? Did we educate the barangays? Did we set aside funds to move communities away from danger? Or did we gamble that another year would pass, quiet and uneventful?
Preparation is not about fear. It's about survival. It's about preserving families, heritage, identity. Because in the aftermath of disaster, it's not just buildings that fall. It's trust, stability, the delicate threads that hold a society together. But when people prepare, when they drill, retrofit, and plan, they reclaim power from nature. They rewrite fate. And that's the challenge facing the Philippines today. To choose not complacency, but courage. Not reaction, but readiness. And so we wait. Beneath the beauty of the Philippines, the rice terraces, the volcanic peaks, the golden coastlines, lurks a fragile truth. This land was born from upheaval. It thrives in defiance of the tectonic plates that shape it. But it also lives in their shadow. Every year that passes without a major quake is not a blessing. It's a buildup. Every still day is a coiling of a spring. Every calm sea, a mask. But hope is not lost. In the face of this silent threat, there is still time to act, to strengthen homes, to teach children where to run, to build warning systems that give even 5 more minutes, to pass laws that prioritize life over profit, to listen, really listen to the signals Earth sends. Because disasters are not only natural, they are political, social, human. And the greatest tragedy would not be the shaking of the ground or the rising of the sea, but that we were warned and we did nothing. This is not a prediction. It's a plea, a reminder, a countdown without a clock. Somewhere along the trench, pressure builds. Somewhere in the capital, lives go on. But when the moment comes and the Earth finally speaks, not in whispers, but in a roar, we will all ask the same question. Were we ready? The answer begins now.